Most people think that for the results to change, their outside conditions and circumstances need to change. Like, have you ever heard someone say, I can't because, well, you know, the economy, or if only the government, or here's a good one, well, these millennials, they just don't have a work ethic. Not like us in our day, or our supplier, or, well, if only my spouse. See, how is it that two businesses in the same economy, in the same city, even sometimes on the same block, can have two completely different results? Or maybe it's just two businesses in the same industry, but in two different locations. But they're still affected by the same economy, they're under the same government, but they have still two different outcomes. See, why do some see opportunity and plan expansion while others see doom and gloom and it's just time to batten down the hatches? And then later they might say, wow, if I had only... You see, we literally experience what we think. We see what we look for. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what does your belief system allow you to identify with and to see? Like, what evidences are you collecting? Like, let's dig into this a little bit. See, we all have a conscious and a subconscious mind. And our conscious and subconscious are continually at odds with each other. See, our subconscious mind is where our belief system exists. And it's been formed throughout our life, and it's been based on our experiences and our interpretations of those experiences. And this becomes our default operating system. Like, have you ever heard yourself say, well, that'll never work, or that's a stupid idea, only to see it work out for someone else or, in some other time? You see, the subconscious mind is our emotional mind, and this is where our reactions come from. Our subconscious is actually there to protect us, to guide us, to help avoid making mistakes, and to keep us safe. Now, in contrast, our conscious mind, that's our thinking mind. Like, free will lives in the conscious mind, and it's where we cognitively make our decisions. So let's explore this a little bit. Like, let's say that X represents a belief system in our subconscious, and X-type conditioning produces X-type results. It produces a result after its own kind. So when we're introduced with a new idea, like let's say a Y idea, before we can rationally explore it, we need to get through the filter of our X subconscious beliefs. See, the goal of an X-type conditioning is to maintain the status quo. Our subconscious is there to protect us, to keep things the same. And often we'll dismiss a thought that doesn't align with our beliefs. See, I experienced this when I was introduced to the idea of getting into car sales. You see, I had a series of beliefs that immediately rejected the idea of car sales. That was deep in my subconscious. See, I had developed a belief system that believed that a car salesman cannot be trusted. Because ultimately, they're there to take advantage of you. And they're going to just rip you off every chance they get. Now, secondly, commission sales, well, that is a risky career choice. It's way too risky. Like, there's no security. Now, at that point in my life, I was in a very desperate state. And even though my initial gut reaction was to run when I was suggested to get into car sales, that this was just a dumb, bad idea, get away, I entertained the idea just a little bit. Like, but what if this was my ticket to get out of just working my constant night shift? See, the thing was, I entertained the idea of getting into vehicle sales, and I continually tried to convince myself why it was a bad idea. See, my emotional subconscious mind was trying to dismiss the idea, but as I began to question it and question my previous assumptions, things began to change. Like, what if my assumptions were wrong? And the longer I entertained this crazy idea in my thinking mind, the more it seemed to actually serve me. And as I engaged in this process, and the more it began to make logical sense. And as it began to make more logical sense, I actually had less and less resistance from it. And then I started giving it even a little bit more attention. See, I wanted to change my life so bad, and this desire drove me to question and challenge my previous subconscious assumptions and beliefs. And the longer I entertained this idea, like this new idea, it not only began to get past my subconscious, but it began to influence it. And now, this was an uncomfortable process. And it created a fair amount of stress in me. It affected my sleep, it affected my moods, it even affected my appetites. But what if I was right? But what if I was wrong? What if this was a good idea? But wait a minute, what if it was a bad idea? You see, thoughts are energy, and energy has a frequency. So a thought at one frequency or vibration is coming against a thought of another frequency. And then that's experienced as emotion. It's energy in motion. And when a thought or an idea is congruent with our subconscious and conscious, we experience that as a positive emotion or vibration. And when the two are in opposition, we experience it as negative. And when a new idea is pushing through the subconscious to the conscious, there will be resistance. And that resistance creates the emotions of discomfort and stress. Again, emotion is energy in motion. You see, my body was experiencing the tension between the part of me that was rejecting the idea while the other part of me was considering it. And we often describe this as, I don't really feel good about this, or it's given me an uneasy feeling, or I just kind of have a bad vibe. We're taking a new idea and it's fighting for life against a well-established belief system. And it's really just designed to protect us. So when you hit a wall of resistance, when you're considering a new idea, it's important. Don't discard it. Explore it. Challenge it. Is it a really bad idea, or is it just unfamiliar to our subconscious belief system? See, as I became more familiar with car sales and began to see the evidence that was actually supporting how this could be a positive change in my life, and that my previous assumptions were just prejudices and they were actually rather flawed, see, I began then to feel more comfortable with identifying as a car salesman. I trusted and respected my friend, and he was in the car business, so therefore maybe I could have integrity and be a car salesman. You see, once that new why idea was established, it started to become congruent with my newly forming beliefs. And as a car salesman, I could sell with integrity, and it could even be a noble career. See, my subconscious started to take on a new core belief. I could bring value to my clients and actually serve them and solve a problem by selling them a vehicle. And in fact, I had a very successful car sales career, even in a down economy. Why? Because I adopted a new belief. My belief system brought me a new result. See, successful results are rooted in a successful mindset. And now I want to be clear, this is not a one-time process, because there was a series of belief changes that needed to happen in me, one growing upon the other. And here's the thing. Once I spent more time becoming comfortable with car sales, that became my new subconscious belief. And over time, that became my new comfort zone. And now you can only imagine what happened when I began to consider leaving my now comfortable commission car sales career to start my own business. Yep. Discomfort, serious discomfort, because this new idea was in opposition to my subconscious, and it revealed the process all over again. And the cycle continues. So the takeaway is this: in order to shift your results, we have to entertain new ideas. We got to put our ideas into action, and this process is not comfortable. So you need to do it afraid. Fear, insecurity, and the internal opposition is actually a necessary part of growing and shifting your results. So my challenge to you is this: don't let your subconscious mind hold you back from considering and exploring new ideas that could actually bring you closer to your dreams and goals. As you grow, the ideas that you once questioned will become your new comfort zone. See, growth is a constant process, and feeling uncomfortable and stretched is part of it. But you need to do it regardless how you feel. Remember, it is an uncomfortable process. So if you're uncomfortable, chances are you're about to experience and see some new results.